So welcome back to Outdoors with the Morgans. Today I am starting a new driveway project. This is for a new home site just down the road from the house. I cleared this lot last week and today I'm starting on the driveway. I'm going to start off with the excavator here, just stripping topsoil. There's way more topsoil than what I anticipated. Out here by the road there's probably over a foot. And I'm using the excavator right here just to get away from the road some. And once I do that, I can back the skid loader out there and start pushing. But it is so dry, it's kind of hard to distinguish between topsoil and subsoil. When it's just a little bit damp, the topsoil is much darker. But after I get down a little bit, I could definitely see the difference and knew I was at the bottom of it. But yeah, this is a nice machine for this kind of stuff right here with that big bucket on it. And I'm just pulling it back, making a pile right there. And then we're going to place all this topsoil in a big stockpile right off to the side of the driveway. And it's kind of right in the middle of the driveway, and it will be used in the future once the house is done. This is where the topsoil is going to go. I don't have to take any trees down, just some brush. We're going to tuck it back here in the woods. There's not a lot of room on the actual build site. You know, by the time you have the house, the septic, you know, the sand mound, your septic tanks, driveway, all that kind of stuff, you run out of room in a hurry, and you have to plan all that stuff out. Like where I'm going, I got to make sure I don't go far enough because the electric line's going to come in on the other side of this topsoil pile. So taking all things into consideration, I think this was the best place to make the topsoil pile. Taking some brush up here. I hadn't had a fire over here in about 5 or 6 days, but we're going to start another one next time it rains. So I'm going to pile some brush up here, go back down here and clear a little bit more ground, and then we'll hop on the skid loader and start moving topsoil. Lots and lots of topsoil. I couldn't believe how much there is. Way more than what I thought. All right, I just used the excavator there to pull that back from the edge of the road so I don't have anything roll down onto it. But there is an incredible amount of topsoil here, at least a foot. That's the way it is here. Probably the same back there, but I'm going to have a ginormous pile over there, but it's going pretty well. And the good news is the more topsoil that there is that I stockpile, that'll be less dirt I have to move to build the driveway. And I'm going to have a lot that comes out of this area in here, but it's going to start climbing pretty quick. and by the time I get up to the log pile, there's really no cut besides the topsoil, if that makes sense. I'm gonna get back at it, but I have to vent for a minute. So I ordered some air filters, both the inner and outer air filters for the excavator and the skid loader. They'll be here probably the day after tomorrow. I ordered them from Messick's, and I wanted to get a couple today. I just wanted them because I'm really working this stuff hard. So I sent daughter Hannah to our local Kubota dealer. Now, she's been there for almost an hour trying to get 4 filters. And she's called me a couple times. All I said, I need a inner and outer air filter for a Kubota KX57-5 excavator and an SVL 97-2. Hannah wrote that down. I did not tell her it was a KX 057-5. And this put them in a bit of a quandary because they couldn't figure out at the dealer. I'm not blaming this on Hannah at all. At the dealer, they couldn't figure out, they couldn't find a KX 57-5. They didn't know. So she called me and we worked through it that I didn't tell them the 057-5. I said, look out the window. There's probably 10 of them sitting on their lot right now. I don't know how that's possible for a dealership like that. And that's why I just order stuff from Messick's now. And I used to catch a lot of heat because I bought this excavator at Messick's, right? Which is hours and hours from here. But I bought it there instead of the place 10 miles from here, just for the reason, and then some, what I just told you. There was one guy in particular, every video, he would comment about why I don't buy my machines local, why I would go to Messick's. Well, there's your answer. I never wanted to bash anybody, but they're horrible. And by the way, I'm not the only one that shares that opinion of that dealership. My neighbor Derek, he's a mechanic, and he's got to go up there for parts every once in a while, and he's had the same type of experience. I don't know. Enough about that. Back to the job here. Got the skid loader here, stripping topsoil, tucking it back in that opening in the woods right there. Here in a little bit, you'll see, once I get enough material there, I'll make a ramp out of it so I can really stack it high. If you just reach up and dump it, your pile will end up being 100 feet long. You need to build a ramp there. You see me going up in the woods and then just push it right up over, dump it off the end of the ramp. And you're kind of tracking the whole pile in as you go. But if I think of it, in the next video, I'll show you how big that pile is. It's ginormous. When I finished up, way, way bigger than what I thought it would be. But having a lot of topsoil is a good thing. We'll be able to put a nice yard in for them when it's all done, dress everything up along the driveway. Once we get all the dirt moved on the driveway, we're going to put some geotextile down, put a culvert in, and we'll put some base rock down and maybe just a little bit of 2A limestone. And then once the house is built and they're done making a mess, we'll put more stone on it and, kind of finish everything off. So I'm back out here at the excavator, just pulling more of that topsoil from the edges next to the road. I didn't want to get the skid loader out there trying to push in or anything, so this works pretty well. I think that's a 30-inch bucket I have on there, and that machine handles it well. I wasn't sure. I was going to get a 24-inch bucket, but it handles a 30-inch, no trouble. And that's digging shale, moving topsoil, whatever you're doing. So back on the skid loader here, looks like the Dust Bowl. I mean, dust everywhere. We need rain so bad. I keep talking about that. But the good news is, if it was pouring down rain every day, I would have trouble getting this job done. So just something you got to deal with. I'm sure a lot of you, like if you're in Texas or something like that, this kind of dust is pretty common. Around here, it's not. Usually it's much wetter than it has been. I think for the year, we're going to have an average year of rainfall, but what happened was late spring, early summer, we got tons of rain, and then nothing since then. So it'll all average out in the end, but it needs to kind of spread itself out a little bit. But you can kind of see here, as that topsoil comes off, everything's getting a little lower. There's probably about 8 inches up this way. There's a foot down by the road. And I'm just working the machine here, stripping it off. And I go at it from all different angles. I never have one system unless it's, you have a direct push somewhere. But you can see how the color of the soil is different? Topsoil is removed. I'm going to come down here and just pull that sod up off the edge of the road. Then we'll gather that up with the skid loader as well. I don't like mixing topsoil with your subsoil or anything else, because you don't know what you're going to use it for. If you're making a good fill or something, you don't want topsoil mixed in with it. It just doesn't compact well, and it's not good to build on. But yeah, pulling this stuff up. But I'm telling you, these cars fly down this road. They go pretty fast past my place, but I live on a sharp bend, and I didn't realize how fast everyone drives until I was working on this straightaway right here. They are sailing down through here. I'm going to have Cliff and Joe, when we put the culvert pipe in, do a little flagging. I won't be out on the road, but I will be literally right next to it, and we'll try to do what we can to get them to slow down, a little bit at least. All right, I am making some progress here. I'll show you what I got going on. So I'm coming down off the road and I'm actually sloping it back in, like sloping it down, even though it needs to come up. And the reason is you don't want the driveway coming right, downhill right to the road. Because when you have heavy rains and all that, everything's going to wash right out on the road. So you want to come down first, back in, and then we'll start coming up. But there's a lot of dirt to move here, but it's going to start going away pretty quick because right back in here, it's starting to come up already. You know what I mean? And it'll start going away quick. But I just wanted to start off with a way to get off the road. I may bring the dump truck over here tomorrow. I'm not sure yet, because all this dirt, you go out past the log pile here, hang a left, it's going to be a long way to try bucketing all that dirt, you know. But like I said, it's going to get a lot easier here in a couple hours. So you just kind of have to, at least I do, feel my way through it. You know what I'm going to do? There's kind of like a little bench down in here. I need to clean all this stuff up anyway. But if I take down those 3 little trees right there, we can waste a lot of that dirt right in there.
Come on now, mama, ain't nothing here so bad. You got fast cars, movie stars, party on down the street. With Mary Jane, good cocaine, plenty down there to eat. You can double down, throw some dice, you can take off now, don't think twice. But hey, don't you wanna play? Baby, come on. Tell me where you wanna go. But baby, I don't work down there anymore. No, I don't. Come on now, mama, don't you hesitate. Grab my hand, well we land. I got the champagne. We can knock it back, get on track, jump on, ride this thing. Double down, roll the dice, take off now, don't think twice. Hey, don't you wanna play? Say hey.
All right, got all the trees cleaned up. Now I'm going to move this pile of dirt here. I don't know why I waited to do this. It's kind of been in the way. It's been there for a real long time. I don't know where it came from, but we're going to use it to kind of start the fill down on the low side. Then we'll take all the excess material from the driveway, put down there as well. All right, just got back over to the house. This evening, I need to go deliver a load of firewood. It's already loaded up in the F600. So we're gonna hop on that. This one's about 8 miles away. Oh, and by the way, this is load number 8. Loads of firewood in the new truck. So after the firewood delivery, I need to meet Eva with a few things.
Few things
She's going to come part way, and I'm going to go part way and meet up with her. All right, I'm going to hit the road.
One of the special items is cookie dough, homemade cookie dough. She has to bake it, but
they can have cookies tonight. This is load number 3. The last 2 loads, I tried to count how many buckets it was, and then I started thinking about something else and I lost count. But something to think about, if you're doing a job like this, whether it be for yourself or for somebody else, and you're trying to do an estimate on how much dirt there is, most of you probably know this, but there's a big difference between bank cubic yards of dirt and loose cubic yards of dirt. So a bank cubic yard of dirt is a cubic yard of dirt in the ground in its natural state. You know, it's compacted and it's tight. That is a bank cubic yard. So to figure that out, you know, you take your length times your width times your depth, divide that by 27, and that's how many bank cubic yards you have. Well, as soon as you dig it out of the ground, it turns from bank cubic yards into loose cubic yards, because you're breaking up the structure of the soil, and it's now a loose product, not tight in the ground. And if you're doing estimating, you have to factor that in, because loose cubic yards, depending on the soil, will be anywhere from 30% more on the low end to upwards of 50-60% more. You know what I'm saying? So if you have 10 cubic yards, 10 bank cubic yards in the ground, you're going to have 15 cubic yards approximately loose material. And then if you're making a fill, you want to turn those loose cubic yards as close as you can to bank cubic yards with compaction. Very difficult. I don't even think it's possible to get it to compact as tight as it was in the ground. Maybe you can, depending on the soil. I don't know. But just something to think about, because like this right here, this is the 3rd load I took out of here. And I'm going to have 3 big piles of dirt over there at my place. But if you look here where I'm digging, it doesn't look like I took that much out yet. That's because you have bank cubic yards and loose cubic yards. The other thing I always like to do, I think most people do the same thing. When I'm loading the truck, I want to load off the left side, my left side, because the boom is you know, it looks like it's right in the front of the machine, which it is, but it's on my right side. And when you're loading to the right, it blocks your view a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. But this is kind of a good setup right here. This is how like the big dirt movers do it pretty much. You want your excavator sitting up a little bit higher would be good. I just don't have that much to come out of here. But I'm not swinging around behind me. I'm not even doing a 180. You know what I mean? It's a quick little swing into the truck. It's quick and efficient. I drive by construction jobs sometime and I don't got a nickel in it, you know, I don't care. But I guess I do care. It drives you crazy. But I'll see these companies, I mean big excavators, brand new rock trucks, and they're loading dirt, and like the guy's swinging 180 degrees around, and you can tell it's not a one-time thing. He's kind of set up that way to load the trucks. It's unbelievable what a difference that makes. When I worked for a heavy highway contractor back in the day, there was a lot of things that they could not do well, but moving dirt was not one of those things. And they had it figured out. And if you just pay attention a little bit, you can learn all those little tricks. And the same tricks apply to a Cat 5130 excavator or a Kubota BX tractor moving dirt. Same thing, just different size equipment. Yeah, we're doing good here. Once I get a little bit more out of here, I will be able to get the skid loader down in here, and that'll really speed things up. I can pile all my dirt up, start cleaning up the bottom, you know, cut and grade and all that. But what I'm going to do as soon as this truck's loaded, which is now, I didn't count the buckets again, I'm going to come over here to the side and just pull this dirt over. This is a really good spot where I'm at, and so I'm going to do two things. Loosen the dirt a little bit and get it right where I want to load it out. Not the most efficient, but it'll only take a minute. I want to load a bunch of this out today, like I'm doing, for a couple reasons. One, it's so much less dust than carrying bucketfuls over to the low side of this property. And they're going to have an excess of dirt here no matter how you shake it, because all that dirt from the foundation, and they're probably going to cut the high side out a little bit. So we definitely need to get rid of some of this stuff, and I need it. It's going to work out perfectly over at my place. I'll put this down first on my building pad, and once I get the topsoil off, I'll put this on and compact it, and then we'll put that shale on top. It'll be good. So when I went out and dumped that last load, I shut the truck off for a minute, and I could hear two of those barred owls talking to one another. They are the coolest bird, they really are. One was down towards my sister's place, and one was like behind our house. I love seeing them. You don't see them all that much, but we hear them all the time. The other night, one literally woke me up. It was so loud. You know, I'm in the house sleeping. He had to have been real close to the house. But I heard some good news the other day on the barred owl. What happened was they're moving west. And I think California, Washington State, the barred owls have moved in. And they're kind of chasing out the inferior and sissy spotted owl. And there was plans to hire all these people to kill like 400,000 barred owls. And that funding has been, the funding for that has been pulled. I think that's good news. I do. You know, we've messed up so many different things in this country over the years. I think we're getting things back on track environmentally, but it's tough. But, you know, we didn't haul the barred owls out there. They got out there on their own. So, like, that's natural, you know? That's the way I see it. And just because the spotted owl can't take the heat, I don't think we should be whacking all those barred owls. Really cool bird, though. I think after this load, I'm going to get the skid loader down in here and start like cutting grade. Once I get a little bit more room down here, I can load with the skid loader. That'll be much faster than with the excavator. The skid loader's about 6 buckets and the truck is full. Looks like a snow cone. I still haven't counted how many buckets it takes with the excavator. This stuff's pretty dry. It's heavier than topsoil, but it's not like rock. I couldn't imagine doing this like 8-10 hours a day straight, just loading trucks. But guys do it. I guess they get used to it. You just want to get it done, and there's only, you can only go so fast. And when you try going faster and faster, that's when you start busting things. I don't want to do that. I have spilled a little here and there on the side of the truck. It's inevitable. At least if it was rock, I would be way more careful. This stuff's like powder. It just runs out. I can't wait till we get some rain. Just need like nice steady soaker, you know? Not like a big downpour, big storm. We need a soaker. Several soakers. I'm reaching out a little bit more right now. That's why it's looking a little bit more awkward from where I'm sitting. It's nice when you can just swing and dump without having to lower the boom and extend the stick. More bucket. I'm just trying to get rid of dirt now. I'll start shaping everything when I get the get enough out of here and get on the skid loader. Matter of fact, I'm going to pull a little bit of this back, and then I can clean up this whole side and move the truck down that way. All right, making some progress here. I'm almost wide enough. This will get cut off right here. Got this big plug of dirt to come out right here. I'm almost wide enough here at the entrance. Need to cut that corner off on the other side. I'm gonna head over to the house, get the dump truck again, and I think I'll bring a tape measure over. I'm gonna get 60 feet of pipe for this. You know, normally I do 40, but they wanted a nice wide entrance, flared out. We'll just get 60 feet. You know, we may cut 10 feet off, but I think that'll work out good. But anyway, this video is gonna run kind of long. Before I wrap this up, a couple things. Number one, if you are a subscriber to our channel, double check, make sure you're still subscribed. And if you're not and you enjoy this type of content, please consider subscribing. Sign up for our newsletter. Go to outdoorswiththemorgans.com. There will be a pop-up that comes up. Enter your email. I think that's about it. We'll catch you on the next one.